Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. It's time for your Leeds versus QPR pre-match chat. Millwall's in the rear view. It was a poor performance. It was points dropped, but we now need to look ahead. And as the thumbnail says, you must. Leeds United must. More importantly, Daniel Farke must ensure Leeds United get 3 points against basement dwellers Queen's Park Rangers. We also owe them one. Queen's Park Rangers were quite pivotal, quite key. That result sort of resigned us to the fact that, the top two ain't happening. A loss on Saturday could also see a lot of the fan base say, this season, under this manager, top two ain't happening. Not for me, but there will be for a lot. But he must win, because obviously if he doesn't, it's then 3 games, to Plymouth aside, where you're expecting maximum points and, you might have picked up 5, and that's not good enough, that isn't good enough. Leeds United's performance at Millwall wasn't good enough. Bristol City, not good enough, not for the team that we have, the personnel that we have, the dominance in games we have. We need to see more chances being created now. Leeds United, with a win against QPR, will be aiming to return back to the top 2 positions. It looks like 3-way battle, I would say, at the minute, us, Sunderland and Sheffield United. I'm still fully expecting to see Sunderland drop off, but we said this about Ipswich, so I have to take that with a pinch of salt. But Queen's Park Rangers coming back to Elland Road. We beat them 1-0 last season at Elland Road. They got a red card. It wasn't an easy game, but the big one, they beat us 4-0 down at their place, down in their London. And it really, really put the brakes on our promotion charge at that point. Now, it's totally different, this season. The 2 teams are separated by 16 points. It's a hell of a lot of points. And the visitors, QPR, are currently sat in 23rd. There's only one team worse than them, and that's Portsmouth. I mean, we drew against them. We must not drop points against teams down the bottom end, because then we are seeing a direct correlation with what happened last season. And as I've maintained, I said front and centre, people are keeping me honest and saying, well, you're flip-flopping on that, and that's fine. But in my mind, I still see Leeds United going up. As soon as that opinion changes, then that's when, for me, I will be, making calls for the manager to be changed. But I don't see it happening. Look, Leeds United have a very good home record. We can talk about away at the minute, although I don't think it's actually that bad. But we can talk about that another day when we play away. But we have a very good home record. We've won 5 and drawn 1 of our 7 league matches, scoring 15 goals across that time as well. 15 goals scored with only conceding 5. And if we do beat QPR, it'll be our 5th straight home victory if we do win. Let's hope that does happen. Now, what needs to happen in order for it to happen? Chance creation. Chance creation needs to be at a premium. I would like to see some changes personally. I don't think the performance at Millwall was great. Bristol City the same. And I think there's an opportunity for the manager to shuffle the pack. I do feel like a bit like a broken record in saying I would like to see Joseph come in for Pirro. And yes, aesthetically and stuff, Pirro doesn't look great. But when he's not scoring goals, he doesn't offer enough, if that makes sense. I know his main job is to score goals, but when he isn't scoring them, we look disjointed. Joseph came on against Millwall and did more running than Pirro had done for 70 minutes. So for me, I would like to see Joseph come in. I've seen a couple of good sub-appearances now off Solomon. I'd like to see him come in. Now, whether that's for Nonto, I doubt. I play Nonto on the right. I keep Aronson in the 10, and I play Solomon at left back. And that's not because I don't rate Dan James. Just feel he's also back from an injury. We've played midweek. He sort of looked a little bit leggy the other night. Wasn't great. So I would start Solomon. I do think he's a level above as well. But that's just my opinion. I know that won't go down well. But we started to see some flashes. I'd like to see him come in. There's a conversation. Maybe you put Gulavogi in there alongside Tanaka, see how that dynamic works. But against QPR at home, I understand people wanting to keep the midfield partnership, and it's crazy for me to want to rip that up, I guess, but it's just an option. But 2 definite changes for me. I would bring in Solomon, and I would bring in Mateo Joseph. And if we do that, I think we would, we'll win the game. We could win the game unchanged. Not could. We should. We must. We better. Queen's Park Rangers, a lot of people, myself included, along with Chef Wednesday, thought they would have a good season. Cifuentes came in last season, settled the ship, got some good results, and they performed really well. But that shows you as well. What that does show you, sometimes managers come in towards the back end of the season, and some teams have already turned it in. They're mid-table. They're not fighting for, they're on the beach, as people like to say. Now that it's early parts of the season, both these teams have struggled, but none more so than Queen's Park Rangers, because, as I said, they sit 23rd and they've picked up just 10 points from 14 games. That's really, really poor. They haven't won a game since August, and that was away at Luton Town. Now, since that, they've only added 5 more points to their tally in 10 games. 5 points in 10 games. And more recently, midweek, they were beaten 4-1 by Middlesbrough. We have to do something similar. Middlesbrough are the only team better than Leeds United for chance creation, which I know I'm bemoaning the chance creation. It's still decent. It's still at a decent level for the league. But with the players that we've got, I understand we should be creating more and winning games and all that sort of stuff. I get that, because the personnel is there to do so. But if Borough can slap them up 4-1, I want something similar from Leeds United. I'd like a clean sheet. Ellen Road's a bit of a fortress, 15 goals scored, 5 conceded, more of the same. Now, they're 5 points adrift to safety. They're only above Portsmouth. There is even talks in some of the, podcasts and stuff that I listen to, Championship check-in, second tier, not the top 20. Things need to change for Cifuentes and quick, because he could be up for the sack. He could be up for the chopping block. So it's a big game for QPR. It's a very big game for QPR. And we can't take them lightly, but we should be winning. We should be winning. Had we beaten Millwall, I'd be so bullish. But there's a little bit of nervousness around my thought process in games now. And I don't like that, because it shouldn't be like that. But I think maybe the performance at Millwall has waned my confidence a little bit, which is understandable. Now, look, not only are QPR really poor, not only are QPR 23rd, not only they haven't won a game since August, they are missing, a massive amount of players. Kenneth Powell, Jake Clark-Salter, Morgan Fox, Harrison Ashby, Jack Colback, Karamoko Dembele, Michael Frey. All these are key personnel. So not only are they really poor, not only they can't buy a win, they're missing 6 or 7 players. Now, of course, they do have some key people. Zancella will come in to lead the line, and he'll play alongside Elias Chair in the 10. We know he will cause us problems. That's why maybe you bring in a standalone 6 like a Gulavogi, because I would liken Chair similarly to Czech Tadze at Watford. The Georgian who had such a great Euros, probably should be playing outside of the Championship, bit of a luxury player, but he at times against Watford caused us all sorts of problems. I could imagine Elias Chair doing that. Now, that's why maybe if Ampadu was playing in that game against Watford, a lot of us said that doesn't happen because the 10's got free reign. We don't have a standalone 6. He's making them tick. And Watford won that midfield battle, I think. Probably the only time you could argue when they started to play, we were bettered. Obviously, Sissoko in there was now injured for Watford for that. That's by the by. But yeah, that's why maybe you could look to bring in Gulavogi to negate. But this is the thing, right? When we talk about certain players, we have a good enough squad to say, do you know what? Today, the right decision is to play Joseph up top. Today, the right decision is to play Perrault up top. But he doesn't do that. And that's something I would like to see him do. And that's why maybe I would go, right, Gulavogi, negate that issue we have with Elias Chair there, bring in Joseph, full of running. But Farke will just go, if we've won a game, same team. If we won a game, same team. And sometimes tactically, that's not great. And, he does have his flaws. Can't get away from that fact. We've seen in-game management is poor. Not all the time, because he doesn't get enough praise for when he does change it and we win games. But yeah, when we're losing, it's like, And I could tell at half-time we were losing that game 1-0, and that was that. And I shouldn't ever be thinking that 45 minutes left in a game, especially with the squad that we have. If we were terrible, then fair enough, but we're not and shouldn't be. So with all that in mind, Leeds United must win this game, because if not, the calls for Farke during the international break will be very, very loud. Very, very loud. Because it wouldn't have been an amazing start to the season. And that's what I expected, you expected, we all expected. I do think sometimes expectations are too much, i.e. we've got to win every game. It's just not conceivable. You have to apply logic, context, game state. All these things have to be taken into consideration. But yeah, look, we've got to win this game. Middlesbrough beat them 4-1, 3-0. 3-0 Leeds. I want a clean sheet. I want a convincing win. We should do it. We owe them one. But if we don't win, it's going to be a long international break. It's going to be a long day, long days. And we've got to win and win convincingly just to chill out a bit and then boom, Swansea. Because the thing is, because the expectations are so high, one loss has caused this. And I sort of starting to understand it. But hey ho, win the bloody game, Daniel. Win the game, Leeds United. We must, you must. Or questions will be asked, I think, mate, which is not a good place to be in. But anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, get them comments in and hit that notification bell, and I'll see you Saturday for the watch along. Peace out. Leeds, Leeds, Leeds.